Grand Gillette, Grand Cape Mount, Montserrado, and Bumi are the 6 counties this project is going to target. And the entire objective of this project is to improve the livelihood of women, especially around social norms. So we all know in Liberia the issue of sexual and gender-based violence is very high. It's on an increase. And one of the ways to address some of these issues is to have a sustainability plan to be able to protect women. So if we have created all of the different awareness from civil society, government, state actors to prevent GBV in Liberia, and we are not having any plans to be able to prevent women from experiencing these issues that are happening in the life. Project is going to do that is by providing grants and opportunities for women in rural, in Liberia, in the 6 counties that I just said there.
Yeah.
So they will be providing these different opportunities for women so that women can be able to have a sustainable plan. So one of the project have 5 different components. One has to do with work on the perception and mindset of people. So there's this belief, especially in rural and traditional areas, where people believe that they believe all these issues are the main in rural areas marrying women who are below 18 and they still use the customary laws as a reliance.
And then are those things still being practiced in Liberia?
Yes, so it's still being practiced. We have two things here in Liberia. We have our customary and statutory laws, and then we have the statutory laws that says that you should be above 18, and then you can get married. Some of these issues around, so there's still need to create more awareness, especially in our traditional areas. So that's why we have our statutory, our traditional practices are still practiced in Liberia. Our traditional laws are still being accepted and practiced all through the length and breadth of Liberia. So that is something we need to continue to create awareness around. That's something we need to look at to see how we can harmonize some of these issues to make it one. So the mindset, we will be using the SASA methodology approach.
What is that?
The SASA, they call it Start, Awareness, Support, and Action. This methodology is something that came from a Ugandan organization that happened in Africa. They use this to change social norms, the perception of people. And this methodology work and made a lot of impact. So Liberia is trying, like we now say, we're looking at global best practice, where we will take things from other countries to be able to apply it. And we're not just taking the bad ones, but the good ones to bring it to our country. So we want to use this SASA methodology on this project that will be affecting component 1, 2, and 3 that I just talked about. And on this component for 2, it will be support existing institutions in Liberia. So when we talk about existing institutions, we're talking about where we may have access to education, we may have access to basic social services. So if you see the way the Ministry of Gender function and run, the Ministry of Gender also protect women. There are also other services they provide. So if women are experiencing domestic violence, sometimes they are being raped, they have to go to one-stop center. So we have the Ministry of Health. So on this project, there are other line ministry that is also working with this project. So the line ministry are the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Health.
3 ministries.
Yes. So they are.
What's up about the Ministry of Internal Affairs?
No, because the project is Ministry of Internal Affairs is just an external body, but we are looking at each area is for the project is going to work in line with Ministry of Agriculture, and we are looking at access to education. If you look at component 2, there are some issues that women and girls face in Liberia that prevent them from going to school. For example, we're talking about menstrual power, there are family planning, there are a lot of issues that prevent girls from entering school. So one for girls have the opportunity to have access to education so that they can be able to go to school. And so the Ministry of Education is going to work along with the Ministry of Gender in a PMU to be able to do the implementation of this project. And this project is going to be implemented e-service provider that we're going to hire, who is going to do the direct implementation of this project, and it's going to be monitored and supervised by the Ministry of Gender through the project management unit.
Are there prospects ahead of these engagements with relevant actors?
So there are a lot of prospects. So for today, one of the new reasons we are starting a national stakeholder engagement consultation meeting, and we're going to be doing it in 2 counties in Babolu. So we will start the visitation today from Bentor, and then tomorrow we will be in Todi, and then on Saturday we'll be in Attington. So these are all rural communities, because the project focus is to work in rural areas. So we're going to be engaging stakeholders, we're going to be engaging community dwellers to have a conversation with them to understand exactly what is it, what are some of their issues, what are some of their challenges. So we also have to, where people can be able to report issues, they can be able to share. And one of the this to be so we have to this market or engaging or the press that we talk
both in
Mozzarella for will be dealing with 300, and then for Babolu will be doing the other 300.
Bentor City talk to 100. Sexual exploitation, abuse, and sexual harassment plan. So we have a team. The gender person will also talk to the different women groups on that, so that that information can fill into that plan. So we will be in Bentor. From Bentor, we'll be going to Yen, Tori. And we'll also talk to 100 persons there as well.
In
Yen Town. And then we will leave from Yen Town and go to Attington, like my boss said. And there are 100 persons there as well. Then from there, before we proceed to Babolu.
In your engagements with the 300 persons in rural Montserrat County, what are your forecast expectations, or what do you envisage from them in terms of recommendations coming from the communities that you will be engaging?
Yeah, so we want to talk with the people. Normally when you have a project and people are not aware, they tend to not have that ownership. So ownership is key. You have a sense of ownership. So if you are part of the project, it makes you, to say, yes, I understand this project. There will be no ESA, DC, you know everything about the grant that will be given and so on. So when we explain, basically, the state of engagement is basically about explaining about the project, how the project is going to be, how it's going to affect the affected communities, the different beneficiaries. Like we targeting 4 different beneficiaries. We're targeting farmer-based organization, individuals, enterprise, village saving loan association, and all of livelihood groups. Those groups will be qualified to take part in the grant.
Do we need to know actually when you'll be ending with one community, like you're starting in or you're starting with the people from where
We starting with Benton City. So we
is there the whole day thing? Or?
yes, it's a whole day event. I will start as a matter of fact by 9. We will start. Registration is ongoing by 9, and then
meaning you already have your team.
yeah, we have our team on ground. So registration is starting at 9, and then the program will start at 10. So we'll have a whole day section. We'll have different speakers. That like the project coordinator, she will speak about the project like she did, and then I will talk on the stakeholder consultation like we're doing now, and then we'll have the livelihood person who will talk on the different livelihood components, and then we'll have the gender specialist. She will talk on the gender different gender indicators or the components. Then we'll have the communication lady who was just here, Lisa. She will also talk on the grievance redress mechanism as well, how we can channel our grievances if we have issues. So at the PMU, the grievance redress mechanism, we celebrate it like this. We celebrate it from the national level, the community level, and that of the county level, and that of the community level, so that the people can channel their grievances as well. Thank you.
Let me go back to the councillor. Let's look at component 3 on this project, talking about promoting resilient livelihoods through community-led approaches. Basically, just explain to the public, what are the community-led approaches that you will be targeting, you'll be looking at that will benefit the community?
Yeah, so like I said, using the SASA methodology for this project is one of the community-led approach I'm going to use, because the SASA methodology is a whole approach that is designed to trickle down to the last person within the community. So it's a whole phase. So if you see the SASA, they have the start phase. The start phase is a whole preparation stage. So from all of the different stages in preparation, in awareness, in education around the project, we'll be able to reach down to the community level. So if you see the structure, the way the project is designed, the community is fully involved. This is one of the reasons why we are having this stakeholder engagement today. You talk about what are some of the impact, what are some of the things we expect from this engagement. One of them is lesson learned. And for us to be able to engage and talk to the community directly, to tell us some of the challenges that they are faced with when it comes to some of the issues around livelihood, what are some of the things that happen, what have worked well, and what have not been working, and what are those things that we can do, what are some of the solutions that they can put forth recommendations, because they are the direct beneficiary. They are the ones we're going to be dealing with. So sometimes you design plan, you involve them, but you also have to talk to the community to know exactly what the thing we expect today is to get the buy-in from the community, the willingness,
Their need assessment.
yes,
Yeah,
their willingness, so you see it's a stakeholder engagement, and we invited the representative of Maserado. We also talk to the senator, we talk to the local authority, we talk to the different stakeholders, the commissioners. So all of them, we expect them to be there today along with the people, so that we have a frank conversation, so we know how are we moving ahead with this person. Even the general council coordinator for Maserado is also going to be there. He's fully involved with the organization and planning of this program. So one of the things we look for impact is the willingness for the people to buy into this project, for them to accept, because if you are carrying on any program in a community, if the community dweller do not accept the project becomes a failure. So we look forward for the willingness, we look forward for the support and the coordination for us to work along with them to make sure that we have impact. So for component 3, like Ina said, the grant is in different folks. So we develop a grant manual that will be given to the lead service provider to be able to help in the process, because we don't want anybody leaving behind. So the grant support will be through direct grant, it will be through input, it will also be supporting entrepreneurs, it will also be supporting VSLA, village saving loans groups and association. So they are in different categories. So for example, if you are in this community, from rural community, in the opportunity, when we start with the awareness around component 3 for the grain aspect. So it's not only going to be grain, it's also going to be support capacity. We'll see the different categories fit in. So we have done we set up this different categories so that nobody can be left out, so that even when you get to the community, you'll be, if you fit in the capacity building stage, yes, you'll fit in where you'll be getting direct support through the grain directly. If you'll be supported like through inputs, for example, if you are a farmer, a woman farmer in your community, but then what you need to improve your farm to be able to better your life is for you to be able to get modern tools to improve mechanized farming in what you are doing. We will be able to provide the inputs. Maybe you are doing a little farming and you're having some challenges with irrigation. These are some of the different things that will come in. Like, for example, the fishmongers, people who go around to sell fish. Most of the time, you see most of our women around the community, they bring the fish from the beach, and we have seaside counties. So the way we design a program in a way so that it affects this Liberia. So for example, if you see Cape Mount, River says they are all coastal area.
Like Sano.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are all coastal.
Yeah,
Sano is
Sano
not
is
part
not
of the
part.
county, but they are all coastal areas in Liberia. So definitely, if you go to the community, you should be able to identify what are some of the livelihood programs, what are some of the things that people do for the major means of livelihood. So you'll be able to identify so that we structure the program in a way. So the livelihood specialist that will be on our team today, he will also be at the community. So we'll be having all the different conversations, and they themselves will be giving us feedback, and that will inform the decision for the full implementation of this grain. As we develop the GRM manual, we develop the livelihood grain manual, we can be able to incorporate some of the comments and see whether we have left something out, and what are those things we think is important for us to include into the document, to be able to incorporate everybody so that everybody is a part of it. So at the end of the project, and people come to do an assessment to say, okay, this project came to Liberia through the Ministry of Gender, and the ministry was able to impact this amount of person. We should be able to see the impact with, or even going to the community, but the impact should be measured so that you know that this project was here and people benefited from it.
I'm curious to know as to whether the women, those that will be benefiting you would take into consideration disadvantaged women, like the disabled, especially. So people visually impaired women, whether they will form part of this initiative.
So the project is inclusive.
Okay.
So women with disability, physically challenged, they are also allowed to participate. Even in the consultation engagement that we're having today, we will be talking to people there, too physically challenged people. They will also be a part of the engagement. So the project is inclusive, incorporating everybody to be a part of it so that they have an opportunity. So people who are physically challenged, they also have a part to play in our society. So they cannot be left out. So they got some of them who are doing different businesses in different areas that they need impact in their lives. So they will be encouraged to apply for this grant. So the lead service provider is going to work along with all of the different groups to be able to incorporate all of the different women structures that we have in Liberia so that they be able to benefit from this grant. We know the grant can, for example, the grant focus, the project is going to reach 750 communities in Liberia. So we are targeting 750 communities, and then we're looking forward to 36,000 persons to benefit from the livelihood component of the grant.
How long does this project go for?
So this project is for 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
And you go how many?
So from 2022, 2023, but there have been some delay in the start of the project. So the agreement was actually signed with the government and the World Bank in 2022, but it did not start in 2022. But there are always room for extension to the project based on the time. So full implementation of this project started last year in May 2023. So now this gone May, made this project now. In terms of direct implementation in the setting up, it's like 1 year. But if we look at from where since the financing agreement started, because the bank don't look at this from June 2022 to where we are presently, we say the project is going like we're going like 2 years now in the project implementation. But there are always room for extension because the bank and even the government of Liberia want to make sure that people benefit from this project and what the project is intended for. It meet the intended purpose, because this is a loan. This money is both in loan and so there are portion the government of Liberia is going to pay back. So people need to benefit. That's why you see the largest chunk of the project is through the livelihood component that's going to benefit people, because these people, when their livelihood are improved, they are making difference in the different businesses in their life. They will be able to pay taxes back to Liberia. So when they are paying taxes, their tax which will also be used to be able to pay back. So indirectly, these things will come back to the community. It will come back to the country for the country to be able to pay back this money.
Yeah. So as part of the engagement today, we developed some leaflets, bumper stickers with those key messages. We also have a brochure that will be distributing among the people so that they can be aware of the project as well. So the project, like she said, the project is going to reach out to 36,000 women and girls. Basically, it's about 70% women and then the other 30% men, because we have to improve men as well. So the project will also consider disadvantaged people as well. So I get like that.
Then do you care to speak about component 4, because this is one area I'm reading here that speaks about the strengthening of public institutions to advance gender equality.
Okay, so component 4 is strictly for the Ministry of Gender, that has to do with institutional scrutiny. So it's to work with the ministry. The project is going to work with the Ministry of Gender. The project is directly for the Ministry of Gender. Ministry of Gender is the lead implementing agency, and we are implementing on behalf of the Ministry of Gender, which is the project management unit. So some of the capacity building programs are going to be happening for institutional scrutiny. They have GSIU that's been established around some of the ministry agencies in Liberia, which, if I'm not too sure about the timing, yeah, I think it's been in existence now. First, people call it Gender Unit, but now it's GSIU. Before now, all of the ministry had gender department. So now the Ministry of Gender took it upon itself to make sure that all of the agency mainstream gender and have a gender department, so that when they are preparing their budgets, when they are preparing for the fiscal year, they can be able to factor gender issues within a different line ministry. So we'll be conducting training in terms of for capacity building. This is one of the institutional strengthening component I'm going to be doing on component 4. There will be trainings, maybe regional or local direct trainings that will be happening to be able to enhance the capacity. There are people already trained, but there's no knowledge is wasted. There's always to do more. So we enhance the capacity of those people. There will be other capacity needs assessment. So we're going to do we're going to hire a capacity building consultant that is going to work directly with the Ministry of Gender, because when it comes to institutional strengthening, you don't want to just assume that this is the issue. So there will be a need assessment taking place around component 4 to work directly with the Ministry of Gender, for them to share with you, work along with the consultant to know exactly what are some of their issues, what are some of their challenges, and how can they address it. So I think we have been having a couple of conversations around it, and we are hiring a capacity consultant, building consultant. We expect the person to be on board by the end of this month, which is June. Mm-hmm. They will be available. And we are also, and one of the things this component 4 is going to do is to set up a data system. If it comes to gender and women issue in Liberia, the issue of gathering data in Liberia is a challenge. We have all of the issues and challenges in Liberia that women are faced with, but we don't have the statistics. So, for example, people want to address some of the issues. We just say, yeah, if you ask people right now to start giving in numbers of what is happening, okay, there are a lot of agricultural projects that have come to Liberia being supported by the World Bank. So you want to know how many women specifically benefited from this
Yeah.
project. There are a lot of money that have come to Liberia on micro loans. How many women directly benefited, or small businesses, women-led businesses have benefited? You don't have those kind of statistics. So even statistics also help to inform good research, and then inform decision makers for policy decisions to be able to affect the country.
It also attracts more investment.
So one of the major things is to develop a central database system for women ingress in Liberia, and that system is going to be at the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry so that we have this database. It's one of the major institutional scrutiny that is going to happen along with the MAE department, so that we have the data system that we can be able to have information that people can report to. So at the end of the period, if people, so the statistic can be, it can be, let's just say, consistent, because sometimes if you're trying to get something, this other group have this information, this other group have this information. Sometimes it's kind of tricky. So if we have a holistic system where everybody can report to and be managed by the Ministry of Gender, that if you want to have information on number of girls who have health issues, especially around women, GBV, and whatever, you can be able to get that information. So that database system is going to be there. Is one of the gaps during the inception stage of this project, the development of this project, that was identified, that the issue of data. So the Ministry of Gender didn't have that already on a system that have been developed by the World Bank under the Ministry of Gender under the Real Light project. This system is there. So this project we don't want to invent something new, but that one we're focusing mainly around a cash transfer. So we want to work with that existing system to see how we can build on it and identify some of the indicators we think that will be able to incorporate the issue of data and address some of the gaps that we have in Liberia to address women issues in the country.
Well, listeners, if you are just joining us, you are listening to our guest from the Liberia Women Empowerment Project, of course, in persons of Councillor Margaret Nigba Ageyu. She's the national. Did I get it correct? Okay. She's the national project coordinator, and that of the food environmental specialist. Of course, they are my guests on the first lap of the Super Morning Show this morning. I'm putting your calls on 086 324740. 07759785530. Once again, 0886 324740. 07759785530. You can call and be a part of the conversation this morning. They are talking about several things that will benefit 36,000 women and girls across 6 counties. And of course, this is a good project for the women of Liberia. I know you are out there and you want to form part of this. The good of it is no discrimination. They've just spoken about that. Women who are disabled as well will be part of this project. It's all about you taking ownership of this project, because they have come to help you, build you up, and make you feel good. So the numbers are 0886 324740, 07759785530. Let me see if I can take it from this baseline. Good morning. Oh, this person is off the line. 0886 324740, 07759785530. You can call and ask them some questions this morning. They will be starting off this morning in Montserrat County, Bentall City, firstly. From there again, and that of Todi, they will be engaging. Yes.
Yeah. So in Bapolo, we will visit the 3 electoral districts. We will start with Bobolu City, and then we will proceed to Bama. And then from Bama, we will go to Bokomon. There's another district called Bokomon. So we will have the engagement there as well. So I just like that.
Yeah, and it's seen 300 persons will be touched.
Yeah, sure. And that includes the different stakeholders, including like the superintendent, the district commissioner, the city mayor, and so on. Yeah.
07759785300 You don't need to beat me, call me and ask the necessary questions that are intended for the fall match of this project. Take ownership and make Liberia great again. Okay, while we are with a few calls, are there special message to the people of Liberia, especially the women and girls, adolescent girls, men of whom I seen in the dark areas in the streets, and they feel like they are not important, they are less important to society?
So for me, so I can say that there's hope. There's always hope. So let's say that you have been left behind. So this is why the Liberia Women Empowerment Project is here to help you out. So if you find yourself in a community, just rest assured that you'll be part of this project and once you meet the category set.
Councillor?
Yes. So okay, I would say that normally before, when I was still actively involved in civil society work, I would say that violence have declared war on the violence and women of Liberia. That used to be my normal saying. So working on this project, the Liberia Women Empowerment Project, I want to work to make sure that this project, we know it cannot do everything, but be able to restore some of the hope that been lost for women and girls in Liberia, to be able to help them. This is just one of the tips of this project that is going to come, and it's not even going to affect the 15 counties in Liberia. It's just going to affect 6 counties. And even if you look at the project, it's not even going to reach out to the entire counties, the entire communities in all of the 6 counties are going to be working in. But we're going to make sure that this project reach down to the grassroots by using the SASA methodology, so that everyone can feel the impact directly or indirectly. So if you see the 36,000 persons that we're talking about, that this project is going to benefit, it's going to benefit people directly and indirectly. So we will be able to reach there. So we want to tell the women and girls of Liberia to not lose hope, or it's not lost. We still got to keep fighting for ourselves. We want to encourage our women themselves, to be able to defend themselves, to be able to talk for them, encourage them to say, continue to be strong. And we are here. The Ministry of Gender is going to give all the necessary support to the people and the women of Liberia, so that they can be able to address some of the issues and challenges that they are faced with. The ministry might have their own challenges, but they are there. They are putting in all of their support in a little way to be able to make sure that women issues are addressed in Liberia. So we'll tell the women out there that the Ministry of Gender is still here and they are still available, and their doors are open for you to be able to reach out to them, to be able to provide support to women and girls in Liberia.
Are there challenges you are faced with as an institution?
So there will always be challenges. There's nothing with all challenges. Even if you come to EFBC right now, we ask you, there will be challenges, but those challenges are not challenges that are going to stop the entire process. But these are things that we can work around to be able to make some impact. One of the challenges is the ministry will need more support and to be able to do the work, because the mandate and the responsibility that the Ministry of Gender has is huge, to be able to address the issue of women and girls in Liberia. So if the ministry is not supported adequately, the ministry will not be in the position
serious budgetary.
Yeah, so to do something. So when the lawmakers are making a budget, we're talking about gender mainstream, we're talking about gender budgeting. The lawmakers, when they go to the different communities to vote, the first group of people they run behind to get all the vote are women and the young people. So when they are making the laws, when they are in there preparing the budget, they should prioritize the budget, the agenda of the Ministry of Gender. They should make it a priority to increase the budget, because if the ministry have an adequate budget to do the work that it has to do, they will do more, continue to do more and more for the people and the women of Liberia. So these are things that is not unique to the Ministry of Gender.
It's
So when we talking about challenges, these are some of the things we're talking about. So openly we'll be telling the people to say, please continue to give more support to the Ministry of Gender, because once the ministry has more support, and also to the donor partners that come into the country to work more and give more support to the Ministry of Gender to be able to carry on some of these activities, like what you see, the well-being is just one aspect. So there are other donors, there are other partners that are having the plans and programs to support women and girls in Liberia, that they work along with the Ministry of Gender to be able to address some of these issues.
I'm afraid you're going to Bapolo, the role issue. Are you thinking in that direction too?
Yeah, so we're not really worried about the role.
That
The role, I think the role is good.
Yeah.
Yes, and when we last did our check, but the project is not going to focus merely in the city. If you look at the development, the in-depth area of this project is to hit rural communities, places where hard to reach they're hard to reach communities.
So you don't care what.
So we expect to reach to the rough terrains, because there are places where we know people will be to be able to address the issues where nobody reaching out, their voices cannot be heard. And how can their voices be heard through this project?
Okay.
So these are the kind of communities we're going to be reaching out to.
Yes.
So it's normal, but for now, we know the role is good. With our information that we got through our latest assessment, we know the role is good, and we'll be planning the role to go. So
Yeah.
even if there's little challenges, because we
We'll
all
still
know it's the
fight.
rain time,
Yeah,
we
sure.
will still make our way there.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Foley, finally, we don't have time. Just your part.
Yeah, so Melvin, I would just like to say thank you for hosting us. We look forward to more of this. So we are pressed against time. So thank you so much, and it was nice being here.
Councilor, finally.
Okay, so I just want to use this time to say thank you to ERBC, and we just don't want it to be only for this consultation meeting, but we will look forward to having more engagements to talk more about this project, to talk about other things when the lead service provider is on board, to inform the public from time to time on what is happening around the project, so that we all can be on the same page. So we say thank you for this time, and we look forward to working with the women and girls and having a successful national consultation engagement with the different communities that we're going to be engaging for the past 3 days. Thank you. Imasurado.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Well, they've been my guest from the Liberia Women Empowerment Project, Councilor Margaret Niba Gayu, National Project Coordinator, and that of the Inofo, the Environmental Specialist. They've been my guest on the first lab of the Super Morning Show. My name is Melvin Stewart. Let's take this break. When we come back with Usher in our next guest. He's the founder of the Faith University there in Lower Magabe County, Reverend Gilly. He's going to be my last guest on the presentation this morning. Please stay with us.